Indie Mogul.
Hey everybody, Russell from Hey Killer here with the show where you send in your best YouTube videos. I make one of my own. We put it all together into one easy to watch playlist in a show I like to call
Village Quest!
This week's movie quest is a very special one. It's the first ever free-for-all. And thanks to some suggestions by a few of our subscribers, it's something we're going to do on a little bit more of a regular basis. Not sure exactly how the schedule's going to work yet, but we'll figure that out, maybe once a month or so. But for our first free-for-all, we got about 20 submissions. We narrowed it down to the 4 best, at least in our opinion, that came in. First up, we're going to be watching Figment by Will Cernay. It's done in that style of a Japanese horror movie, but it's done very well. And if you've been with us since near the beginning, you might remember Will as the guy who did the animation of Wiener of Justice. Following that, we've got Like Butter Like Honey, a music video done by Unrendered Media. This one's really impressive, and when you check it out, keep in mind that the entire thing was done in one shot. Following that, from 458 Films, we have the first part of a series called Forsaken. It's got a post-apocalyptic, real depressing feel to it, but it features some really great acting and great cinematography as well. And that was kind of a theme this week. We got a lot of really dark material. Ain't that right, Chad? My God, you've broken him. So I made sure Chad got to pick the last one, something that made him happy, cheered him up a little bit. This one was submitted by The Special Idea, and it's called The Magic of Carpentry. It's a brother and sister team who are actually very funny together and shot this during that hurricane that affected us so much last week. Good job, guys, you really cheered him up with that one. Now those were the 4 we selected, but before that we're going to be finally showing that dance movie that we were supposed to do last week before the storm hit. So if you've ever wanted to see that man over there dance off against a 4-year-old, well, you're in luck. But enough about us. It's time to find out what I learned about you. Now our episode last week was all about dance movies, so our question was, if you could dance battle against any historical figure, who would you choose? We received a lot of answers, and man, a lot of you really wanted to dance battle Helen Keller, which I can totally appreciate. It's just, well, everybody kind of canceled each other out. A lot of Napoleon, a lot of Hitler, all of which would have been great, but so many people picked them.
So many Hitlers.
Now some of the people whose answers we liked included the Millerism, who was really specific and actually very informative about his subject. Brett French, the Australian former rugby league footballer of the 1980s because he scored the match-winning try for Wynnum Manly in the 1982 Brisbane Rugby League. I learned a lot about it, and an answer that got a laugh out of us was from iRock App, saying, well, I consider myself an okay dancer, so I'm pretty sure would have a dance battle against Al Capone.
You know, he had a point, it really was the only logical choice.
I guess. Hey, you know, Strawper said, I would have dance fight with Russell and Chad, because I suck dancing. I think they too.
What?
Oh, it's okay, they took it back.
That's better.
The winning answer this week went to Joe Kid Animations for saying it would be either Eric Beck or Nelson Mandela. I reckon he would have some killer moves. One, Nelson Mandela is a great answer on its own, but just for including Eric Beck's name when bringing up Nelson Mandela, you know how to call attention to your answer, sir. And for that, you win a Cowboy Studio Pro shoulder rig. We just have to get in touch with you and we'll figure everything out, but we'll get it to you. Now next week we're going to be giving away another Cowboy shoulder rig. Normally the questions that we do for this have to do with the subject for that week, which in this case is just free-for-all. We have no real subject, so all you need to do is tell us why you are the one who deserves the Cowboy shoulder rig, and if you win it, what movie will you shoot first with it? So this one is pretty much for all the filmmakers out there, which I know there's a lot of you, so give us your best answers. Now this is a special extra long edition of what I learned about you because I also wanted to give honorable mentions to other people who submitted this week. Like I had mentioned, we received a lot of entries this week, from Alex Anderson submitting his Modern Warfare first-person movie, to Bold Bulkhead Soda Machine Studios sending in their Lego Batman vs. Lego Two-Face, and CQV Films sending in their Matrix fan film. We got all kinds of entries. I would say I learned quite a bit about you this week. For instance, White Goat Pictures sure knows how to stage a Soviet execution. In Extinguished from 29 Frame Productions, this girl really scared of the dark. Golden Media Films' Epic Walker definitely got a laugh out of us, which was good for Chad. The Cheap Movies showed us their Warzone movie. Rodarius pulled a pretty clever move by killing off a character and scratching their name out in the credits. And if you ever want to know what your Canon DSLR is capable of, nobody knows how to make that footage look better than Red Spectrum Pictures. Exactly prophesied the machines taking over. Hillier Smith Studios reminds us to pause and think. Taped Studios gave us a really good reason to use that closed caption button, and the Ratsmith submitted a movie that, while it looked innocent, was really anything but. I'd like to thank everyone who submitted their movies this week, and like I had mentioned, we'll definitely do Free for All again. Maybe at the end of next month, but at least in time for Mogulween. Now next week, since the Star Wars movies are finally coming to Blu-ray, we figured we'd celebrate around here by making the topic Star Wars. And I'm just going to interrupt myself real quick here just to let you know that Star Wars films are preferred for next week, but any sci-fi will do. Sci-fi movies will be the theme for next week. That is all. Back to me from yesterday.
Russ, I don't like this time travel thing we're playing around with. This is a dangerous game you're playing.
So if you've created a Star Wars fan film, or if you have one you enjoy on YouTube, just send it to us and the best videos will make the playlist next week. And remember all the ways to submit to us. By now you should be pretty familiar. You could message us on here, or you could send us an email. You can leave a comment on our Facebook page. You can go to our Twitter. All these various places where you can submit whatever movies you'd like to see, or your own work. Now before we start this week's playlist, I just want to make sure to thank all of you who let Paige Manley know that Chad had his crush on her.
She talked to me. Oh God! Alright. Just had to get that out there.
On that note, let's start this week's playlist. Now, as we always recommend, make sure to start from the top. That's our movie, the dance movie that was supposed to play last week and didn't. After that, you've got all the other movies that were selected for this week. You got Will Cernay's movie, you've got Unrendered Media,
458 Films, Special Idea.
Yep, you can start from any one of those you like, but again, from the top. That's the way to go. Make sure your annotations are on. We can't stress that enough.
Annotate the shit out of it.
Language! This is my home.
I'm sorry.
Any crushes you have on anybody this week that our viewers could let anybody know about?
I don't know. I mean, the chick in Figment kind of bugged me out.
It's a creepy, creepy movie.
The girl in Like Butter Like Honey, out of my league. Although, you know what? The brother and sister in Magic Carpentry.
Both of them?
Yeah. No. Yeah, I wouldn't mind you guys going and telling them that Hey Killer Films might like to work with them, seeing as how they're local Jersey filmmakers. That, and I probably will want to date the brother and sister together. Nothing weird. Lunch, tea, movie. You gonna judge me on this?
Way to get around the couch this week. Disgusting.